Alright, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that there could be something from the past kind of coming up for you, or you could be feeling nostalgic. And there's something that's coming up from the past because it needs to be healed, and the universe wants you to be able to fully move forward. And I'm getting quite a story here. It's very distinct, so just take it if it resonates. If this reading doesn't resonate for you, you can just leave it and maybe check out my other readings and see if you can find one that does, because this is a specific story today. And so what I'm seeing is that there was some partnership that you had in the past that was very hard for you to move on from. It may have triggered some fears for you around reciprocation and if someone was actually going to be able to move forward with you the way you wanted, and if you were going to actually receive the love that you really wanted in life. It kind of hinged on this connection. And I'm seeing that there may have been a level of care that you wanted from this connection that you just never really fully received, and that this was an energy that I don't want to say they weren't in it for the right reasons, but they're not coming through as emotionally grounded in the way that you may have desired, or emotionally present, or emotionally available. And for many of you, this is something that happened a long time ago, maybe a few years ago, several years ago. It's not something that just happened a couple months ago. This is a connection that happened at some point in your life path and really stuck with you ever since. And I see that it's been quite a journey for you to find harmony within yourself and to really truly move on from it. And I'm going to kind of dive into the backstory that I'm seeing here and what it brought up for you. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings. You can email me down below in the description box. I really enjoy doing personal readings, and I really appreciate everyone who's trusted me with their story so far. And if you'd like to lend your energy to the channel in a way that allows me to manifest messages that resonate more for you, you can like and subscribe. But without further ado, Sagittarius, let's jump into it. So I'm seeing that in the recent past here, what you were really moving through was this very difficult energy that you may have felt somewhat trapped in of, am I ever going to be loved the way that I want to be loved? And I see that that was kind of brought up by this past partnership, but it was an issue that maybe you were dealing with anyway, or that was going on within you that this kind of illuminated. And you may have felt triggered by this person because it may have felt like at times they did love you or they did care for you, and then it kept you kind of coming back for more, but you never quite got what you wanted from them. There's some type of cycle that you were kind of stuck in when it came to feeling loved, either by this person or just in general. And ultimately, I see you kind of realizing that in order to feel harmonious within yourself and to do what was best for you, you had to move forward. So I see you moving forward from the connection, but there were still lingering feelings of, am I ever going to receive the love, the happiness that I really desire? And that looks very stressful for you, and it looks like a wound that you kind of have actively been kind of moving through. Some of you may have been dealing with difficult sleep patterns or disrupted sleep patterns. Others of you, this is just something that, stayed kind of in the back of your mind, even when you were, having a good time or moving about your life. It exists as a sort of chatter in the back of your mind there. And then I'm seeing that eventually, you may have kind of built yourself back up, established a community, a foundation for yourself, maybe got more back on your feet after this connection. But it's like once you actually reach that pinnacle of security there, it's like something happened really suddenly, some swift change. We have this tower moment that comes in right as you're starting to really feel like you've put the pieces back together. You're all healed up, tie it up nicely with a bow. It's like something comes in and just like rips that bow off, or something in your environment kind of gets shattered or there's a foundation there that gets pushed over, and it's like everything changes and things kind of open up for you again. And the oracle cards for you that I have today are Harmony, Thunderbolt, and Clinging to the Past. So again, we have this theme of you reach this harmonious place, you're feeling good, you're feeling steady, and then all of the sudden something happens and it kind of forces you to confront if you have been clinging to the past, or how the past has not been fully released, or what it is within that past sort of wound that still needs to be dealt with, because it looks like there's something there that does still need to be dealt with. Now, in the current energy, what I'm seeing, it's funny, it's like you're actually moving towards quite a bit of happiness, and you're on your life's path with the Chariot here and the Sun. There's sort of a lot of happiness available to you, a lot of solidity, really kind of good energy, but you're showing me like this really guarded, sort of exhausted energy here, where it's like you're not really able to fully open up to those energies, and that is the piece of you that's kind of clinging to the past. And you're coming through as just being really tired or like burnt out, but it's because, if something terrible happened in the past, or you did move through this energy of feeling like you were never really fully going to be loved, or you were never really fully going to receive what it was that you wanted out of relationships here. Even if you have all the happiness in the world and you're getting these great opportunities and you're moving forward, if you haven't fully moved forward from what happened in the past, and you haven't fully healed specifically, then you're not actually going to be open to those more positive energies that come in. And I'm seeing those positive energies as being around you currently. They're very much trying to make their way through, but you do have this sort of guard up, and some of you may not even realize you have your guard up, but you do, and it's because you were hurt at some point, and there may have been this feeling of up and down in the past, or like everything's really great and then everything's really bad. And what that does to your nervous system is it makes you feel in your body like you can never really trust, that you're never actually safe, that even when you're safe, things can become dangerous or unsafe very quickly. And so some of you may have been through like a literal abusive relationship. Others of you, maybe it wasn't to that extent, but it was something that kind of led you to really put up your guard, but kind of in the way that like a wounded animal puts up its guard, of like, don't come over here, I'm wounded. You know what I mean? Yeah, your heart still feels the pain of whatever happened here. Like, this may have felt like a betrayal. It may have shifted the way that you viewed love and life entirely. And even as you kind of got back on your feet, I'm seeing that your heart was never really the same again. And so then when happiness does come up for you, or happy events come up for you, it's almost like you're not able to see them clearly, or there may be a part of you that doubts those things, like, can I really trust this? Is this going to be worth it? I'm hearing, should I really invest my energy here, or is this just going to kind of fuck me over the way everything else has, is kind of the energy that I'm getting from you, which makes sense. If you've been that wounded and your trust has kind of been destroyed, no matter what comes in, no matter how good it is, you're not going to necessarily see it clearly. And so because of that, I actually see you moving towards commitment, stability, growth, opportunity, healing, all of that, but you don't see it. It's like you're not entirely, it's not even that you're not seeing it clearly, it's like you're not, it's funny, okay, go with me here, because this is going to be quite the analogy, but I don't know if any of you use like Club Penguin, or like any of those online gaming platforms of the early 2000s, Neopets or whatever it was. And if you did, you would have these different servers. And I remember I was young, I was a child, maybe in middle school. And me and my friends, we'd want to go on Club Penguin together. But if you wanted to go on Club Penguin with your friends, you had to be in the same server. So they would have like 60 servers or something, let's say, and they'd be called things like Wild Cupcake or Happy Sprinkle or whatever. And you would want to make sure you're in the same server as your friend, because if you weren't going to be able to meet up with them. And each server was exactly the same layout, it was exactly the same Club Penguin world. But if you weren't in the same server as your friend, they would be there. You'd be trying to meet up with their little penguin avatar, and you wouldn't be in the same place as them. And so, I guess basically what I'm saying here, it's a very long winded, twisted way of saying it's like you have this plane of existence where you have a lot of abundance and happiness and stability and healing available to you, but it's like you're not on that server or you're not on that plane. You're not able to contact all of those energies because you're kind of stuck in the past, in this past energy. And so if we go with this idea of the different planes, we can think of you in a plane that has one, like you have one foot in the past and you have one foot in the present. And in order for you to fully experience the present, you have to get both feet in this plane, in this server, so that you can meet up with your friends, which are those good energies that are, trying to reach you. And some of you may be listening to this and you're thinking, oh no, like I don't have good things around me, like this is someone else's reading. And actually I'm hearing that it's for you guys specifically, where it's like, actually yes, you have a lot of good things around you, a lot of good things to be grateful for, and you don't even necessarily have to do anything. I'm seeing that you're kind of just along for the ride. These things are going to come along your path, and it's up to you to kind of get comfortable and feel comfortable receiving these opportunities. But your energy is kind of closed off in a sense to these opportunities. And so Spirit's really asking you to evaluate how you view love and how your heart is doing, so that when these opportunities come to you, you can go and get them. You may have this perspective of like relationships take work and they're very hard and there's always conflict and I always have to put in more than I get back. There's something about your perspective on relationships as well that was really affected by this past hurt or this past betrayal that you experienced, where it's like you think that you have to work really hard just to have a relationship, or you have to kind of like really exhaust yourself just to kind of be in connection with people. And what I'm seeing here is that the connections that are right for your heart are not going to take that much effort. You're going to be able to move at your own pace. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel natural. It's going to feel divinely guided. It's going to feel right, basically. And I see that those are the connections that you're kind of meant to step into, and that the universe wants you to step into. And so if you are facing some major changes in your life, it may be because the universe is trying to redirect you to relationships that don't require a ton of effort, relationships that give you what you deserve, relationships that fill your cup, relationships that nourish you, that make you feel wanted and attractive and desirable. And the right connections for you, Sagittarius, are not going to be connections where you feel like you're constantly busting your ass just to be in them, just to make them work. It's like there's a level of peace that you're meant to experience in your connections, but in order to fully experience that peace, you're going to have to let go of these patterns around love, and especially around accepting love, that maybe you got really used to at some point. I see healing happening for you. I see you moving forward. And on that deep emotional level, I do see you kind of coming towards happiness, but it's going to take time, and it's going to take gentleness, and it's also going to take honesty for you to really approach the ways that you were hurt in the past, and to really, I'm hearing like coddle your heart, or like treat your heart like you would treat like a newborn baby, like just so gently, and in such a way where you don't try to pretend that you are okay, especially for those of us who this sort of relationship or connection that was really hurtful when it happened several years ago, like 3, 5, 7, 8 years ago, it can be really easy to think, well, so much time has passed, so I must be fine. And like, look how much I've accomplished for myself, so I'm doing okay. But there's kind of a need for you to allow time to pass and to understand that you will be happy again, you will be loved again, you will experience the relationships that you desire again. It's just going to take time for you to actually fully move through your feelings. Because there are deeply held feelings. The Sagittarius that I'm speaking to today, you're very sensitive, you're very emotional, you're very empathetic, and it's important that you honor that there may be some scar tissue there in your emotional world, in your heart space, that needs to be, massaged and held and caressed and cared for. And that as you do that, as you really take the time to allow yourself to feel your feelings, I see you moving towards more happiness. And I also see that over time, there's going to be those opportunities that come in for you, um, and you're not even aware of them. Like, there are things that you just don't know about yet that you're moving towards. And it's important that you let go of the past so that you can fully open up to what's coming for you in the future, which has been a theme of several readings, but it's just coming through in a new way of like specifically around receiving love and giving love. There's something there that needs to be healed and then moved on from. The first and last card that I pulled for you in this reading is the Six of Swords, which is about moving forward mentally and emotionally. And Spirit's really asking you to close out a cycle here about how you view love so that when new love comes in, you're ready to receive it with open arms. So a really beautiful reading for you here today, Sagittarius. I'm just going to pull 3 cards of advice from the universe, and then we'll close out the reading. The advice from the universe is let it be done. Whatever it is that happened, just let it be done. But also accept all of your feelings, accept your happinesses, your joys, accept the ways that you're upset, accept the ways that you're sad and disappointed and regretful, and accept your happiness too, and understand that all of it is just a part of being human and having an emotional experience. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for receiving this reading. I hope it helps. I hope it resonates, and I'll see you next time.